So now we're going to hear from East Bay Parks, and they're the new landowners here. And first I'm going to call on David Amme. He's the Vegetation Management Specialist with East Bay Parks, and he'll be speaking to you about grassland stewardship and helping preserve ranching communities.
The Park District has about 100,000 acres. I'm the Vegetation Program Manager, and I've got about 36 tenants throughout this whole two-county area, and it's a big job, and it's really been exciting. It includes public visitors too, and cattle and sheep. Basically, our mission statement is the stewardship of our grassland. We enhance native species if we can. We control and eliminate the weeds if and when we can, using cattle and sheep and other wild other animals. And we're basically are helping to preserve the tools of the ranching community. And for me, it's been an incredible pleasure to work with the ranching community and making some changes and learning a tremendous amount of information. Basically, we end up acquiring land. The Park District is acquiring a tremendous amount of land all the time. We have a grazing license, which from time to time we do RFPs, requests for proposals. When a piece of property doesn't have anybody on it, we usually inherit the ranchers, and sometimes we keep them, and most of the time we keep them, and sometimes we bring on other ranchers. The grazing program works basically with operations. Operations is all of our supervisors who are a major participant in the grazing program. Without the supervisors for all of our grazing ranches and grazing places, I couldn't be able to do this job. They're a major participant. That has to do with looking at the RDMs, what I would call utilization, and try to figure out what's going on during the rainy seasons, and looking at the different types of species composition, and basically working to develop good plans. And I've spent the first 5 or 6 years of my time really trying to figure out how to not just have one big area with one big water trough and have cattle go all over the place. Try to divide it up. Try to give it, make it so that the land can be actually managed properly. I try, if I can, to get about 3 or 4 pastures, and I'm looking at trying to at least rest one of those pastures during the growing period. It's a little bit of a mix and match. Sometimes a tenant will be grazing some land on our property, but they will own property next door. And so they bring their cattle onto our property and then onto their property. And there's some tenants here today who do that. Oftentimes people say, oh, there's just grazing. But it's not just grazing. It's like when you graze, how you graze, and the timing. It is so, so important. And so anyway, cow-calf gives us a lot more flexibility. Stalkers, you have to get them in and get them out. And so there isn't that much flexibility. So, well, what was here before all this came? What was really going on in California? Well, here's a quote from William Starr Jordan in the mid-1800s. And I love to read this because it's so fun to read. The first thing that arrested attention after leaving the sandy shores of San Francisco was the flowers. Here they have flowers in May, not shy, but rampant, as if nothing else had a right to be. Flowers by the acre, flowers by the square mile, flowers as visible carpet of an immense mountain wall. You can gather them in clumps, a dozen varieties at one pull. You can fill a bushel basket in 5 minutes. And the colors are as charming as the numbers are profuse. Yellow, purple, violet, pink, and pied that are spread around you now in separate level masses, now 2 or 3 combined in a swelling knoll, now intermixed in gorgeous confusion. Imagine yourself looking across 100 acres of wild meadow stretched to the base of the hills nearly 2,000 feet high. The whole expanse swarming with little straw-colored wild sunflowers, orange poppies, squadrons of purple beauties, battalions of pink, And then the mountains, unbroken by tree or rock, glowing with the investure of all these hues, softened and kneaded by distance. This is what I saw on the road to San Mateo.